Right, you lot of time for a catch-up because, as I always start these with, it has been relentless with lots and lots and lots of fishing going on. And first, I've got to go back to a catch-up that I've already done, but footage disappeared. Don't know who's getting the blame for that. Definitely wasn't me. But first I want to talk about is Daiwa Masters. I mean, I'm going to say the biggest festival of the year. The most important festival, definitely to myself and the lads that the commercial-based anglers. For us, it's the most important and biggest festival of that style, obviously F1 fishing, that we fish all year at the epic Tunnel Barn Farm. I mean, massively well sponsored by Daiwa. They do a ridiculous job in throwing their all in for that one. They give 2 poles away. They give a Daiwa Air, an Airity Pro, and a lot of money in section prize as well. Probably the biggest sponsorship within any of the events we fish. So massive, massive thank you to Daiwa for that. Catchmore Media do a mega job in covering it, and of course Tunnel Barn run the event. It's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, we look forward to it so much every year because the fishing's so good and it's just flipping amazing. So I'm going to go through that really, really quickly. For those of you that don't know, really simple format. There's 120 odd anglers on it, and it's split into sections of 6 or 7. Mostly sections of 7. I think there's an odd 6, but depends what lake you're on. And it's 3 days, lowest points win. Yeah, simple as all. I mean, yeah, we'll say lowest points win, one for a win. I'm sure that's how we do it. So it's all about winning your section. Winning the match is irrelevant, although there is a phenomenal payout on the day for individual as well. So first day, a draw on club pool. Yeah, club pool it's a lake I don't draw on very often. It's one of the littler pools at the top, and it's changed a lot over the years. It used to be very carpy. Now it's a lot more F1-y, a lot more little stockies in there. So there's put loads more little fish in there now. So the stocking's changed a little bit in the way you fish. And peg 3 wasn't one I fancied, to be fair, at the start. It's the way they do club pool, they split it in half. So club pool's sort of an oval type lake with an island down the middle. And they have the first half, peg 1, 3 and 5, in the same section as 19, 21, 23. So that top end of the lake, just so that the pegs are normally windward end or all together on whichever bank you're in. Definitely for me, maybe the fairest way of doing it. Most occasions it's the best way, but peg 3's on the narrow side, and I was potentially against the best pegs on the lake, 23, 21. That's where you want to be, especially with the wind up that way like they were. So really didn't fancy my chances, although I understood that narrow side quite well. I've drawn there a little bit. And I know how they feed on there. I know the middle's really important regardless of the weather, because it's quite shallow. And across, it's really, really shallow, and your edges are. So they can be a bit reluctant to feeding them. So you've got to fish it a little bit different. So my match, really, really simple. I'm not going to dwell on these matches. I'm going to run through the Masters really quick. Went phenomenal. I mean, I had a few little edges that I knew about fishing, really light. Excuse me. In terms of hook length and hooks. And I just fished really light down the middle, little floats, just loose feeding maggots. And for 3 hours, I caught a fish every single chuck. Little fish, little stockies, little skimmers, odd big F1, just loads and loads of bites, which was lovely, which is all I needed to sort of keep in contention with these little fish. Then my peg fizzled, and the lads opposite carried on catching bigger stamp lads opposite as well. I had Paz, Ben Hanley, I forget the other angler was opposite. But they're catching as steady as me, but bigger fish. So I was in a bit of a woody. So I took the gamble last 2 hours, and I fished in the really shallow water across. I had this bit of a duck ramp across that I could get tight to the far bank if I needed to, but it was too shallow. So I fished off the far bank a bit, really patient with hard pellets on, feeding a few hard ones and a little blob of micros, and I caught some carp. I think I probably had 10 carp in the last 2 hours on that, plus a few F1s, which got me over the line. Massive, massive bonus. I think it was the only day those carp fed on that lake. But I managed to win the section with, I can't remember. It's been about 3 or 4 weeks now. I can barely remember. I think I had £114. I may have had 117, something like that. But just managed to win. I think Paz was next with 101. So couldn't be happier with winning the first day. Who won the match first day? Brad had won the first day with, that's what I didn't mention either. They pay also the pole. The Daiwa Airs for the winner, the Daiwa Airity is for the biggest individual weight of the week. Not your accumulated weight, 1 day's weight that keeps everyone going until the last day as well. They also have a mystery pairs that they have a mega payout for. But Brad won the match on the first day with 190 something pound, 180 odd pound. So mega start. Second day, wheels fell off for me massively. I drew, I'm going to say, the worst peg I've flipped in Tunnel Bar. It is shocking. 40 on high. They don't even go there to die. They drift there once the day. It's just the worst. The worst. I really wasn't happy to be on 40 high. It's top corner of high, really deep. No island really to fish to because you've got a little nubbly island that's you can't get the right depths. It's just such an awkward peg, and you're in with the best pegs, which I had some right good anglers on there as well. I forget who was down there. Oh no, I don't. Christian was on 48, probably the best peg in section. John Harvey was next to him on 46. Oh, I forgot Dan's name. I can't remember Dan's name that was on 44. But another great lad on 44. Paul Arnold was next to me on 42. I'm on 40. It's the worst bit. Me and Paul were so despondent. And long story short, I ducked and dived all day, skipping all over the place. Caught a few short on pellets, caught some on casters, caught some in the edge, lost a lot in the edge because it was very snaggy and I'd hook them and they'd fly under the bank. Caught a 9-pounder in the tail, which massively helped. Just had such a scatty day, just putting an odd fish in the net. Couldn't line nothing up. But I was annoyed at myself at the end. Yeah, I weighed 39 pounds and I probably lost 10 foul lookers and a few of these fish in the snags throughout the day. Only 52 pound won the section, which really peed me off a little bit because, to be fair, if I'd have had a better mentality and a calmer crack on with it, shut up whinging, I could have potentially had that. I've had it on the hook. So a bit more of a less erratic match would have given me a chance. Yeah, the way it turned out, unfortunately, I came fourth. So with Dan winning the section by 2 ounces over Christian. They both had 52 pounds something, I think. John Harvey had 40 something, and then I was next. So not the worst. I managed to beat 2, but still, you're not going to win the Masters unless you've got 2 points. The match winner on the second day was, I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember who won the match on the second day. Who won the match on the second day, Josh? You're not going to know. I don't know. It'll come to me in a minute. But they didn't beat Brad's weight, more importantly. That was the one. I can't remember who won the match. No, not even close to remembering who won that. It's been too long away. I know Andy Powell won the third day, but I'll come on to that in a minute. Yeah, on to the third day. Bit despondent. I've got 5 points. I didn't feel you could get in with 6 points, which was the best I could do. And I drew 15 on top, which was on the lily beds. Really happy to be there on 15 on top. However, when I got there, I didn't like it because the wind was blowing the other way. The wind was blowing into the bowl, but still was able to have a bit of a day's fishing. Kept things really simple. Shallow to the lilies. Put a deck rig in. Never had a bite on that. Maggot short, ground bait maggots, or ground bait and worms in the edge. And I had the same sort of day. I had a really good start shallow with a proper rig. And then I even resorted briefly for about 10 minutes to doing that wobbling thing that all the cool kids do with an overshotted thing. Hated that. Couldn't actually catch on that. And Andy Mann next to me, who's fishing to the same lot of lilies, had the same. It was really weird. As if maybe because it was calm or maybe because they'd had the bums kicked a bit. An overshotted rig wasn't very good. A rig was far better. But if you hook one on an overshotted rig, it was great. It'd pull your pole down and you'd land it. With a rig, you'd strike and it'd go through the lilies. Ever so weird. Just all about angles, isn't it? But pain in the arse, lost a load of hook lengths. And if I'm honest, I flipping give up. Yeah, my head went down. I didn't try hard enough. And I ended up with £73 for third in section. John Harvey beat me. He had 79. And Andy next to me on, what am I on? 15, 13. He fished a lovely match. Like, really keen. Tried hard. Caught some great big ones in the edge later on. And he paralysed the section with £117. So last day, I'd fished a bit harder. Andy Power had won the match off Canal with £130 odd. I still can't remember who won the second day. No, not even close. Who won the second day? That's doing me head in. Insert it for me. Just Rich will give Rich something to do. He'll find that. I really need to know that. I'm going to find out in a minute. But overall, Mr. Bennett took it out. 3 section wins. I think he won his lake all 3 days as well. Yeah, I'm sure Bagger won his lake. Didn't mess about. I mean, you don't give that boy a chance. If he gets one, he gets job done. And gutted, he won. He was the first person to win it 3 times as well. I was hoping to beat into that, but no, he has the rightful accolade of being 3 times Daiwa Masters champion, which he should be. He's the best of that. I mean, definitely. So massive well done to Baggett, as always. Massive well done to everyone that framed. It's too long ago. I can't remember. No, I'm not even close to remembering who came what. I think Matty was... No, I can't even remember. It's been about a month ago. I do apologise. We'll insert, of course, the top 4 or 5. Massive well done to everyone. It was a phenomenal event. But with that one done, we were moving on to the next one. A really important one. The final round of the Premier League. Something I've been absolutely loving this year. A mega event. And one I wanted to do well in. Yeah, we'd had the first 3 rounds. We'd fished Tunnel, we'd fished Messingham, we'd fished Hayfield. And I was clinging on. I was in 6th position. What's I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th position going into the last round. And he's paying top 7. Yeah, with loads of money to be won. I think 7th got 500 quid, I think. Yeah, 500, 800, a grand. But yeah. And we were going to Monk Hall for the last one, a venue that I flipping love Monk Hall, but knew it'd be a fish race. We'd be catching lots of fish. So before I went, I fished the Saturday before that at Carney Pools, which I knew I'd be bagging because I couldn't get on Monk Hall. Fished the match at Carney's, got into the catching loads of fish frame of mind. I think I caught 270 pound at Carney's. So I had the right mentality of catching lots of big fish. Come Monk Hall, we were on 2 sections of 10. We're on Buzzard and Swallow Lake. 10 on Buzzard, 10 on Swallow. I didn't really mind where I drew. There was a couple of pegs I didn't fancy, a couple on Buzzard I didn't fancy, and a couple on Swallow I didn't fancy. And unfortunately, drew one of them. I drew 6 on Swallow, that's me bit. I always seem to draw peg 6 or peg 4 on Swallow whenever I'm on there, which is the narrow side, and I'm grumpy about it, and I never should be because it's really good, and I always have a sulk about it for some reason. But the more I think about it, the more it suits the type of fishing I want to do. Because it's really narrow there. It's 11 metres. The other side's a lot wider. It's sort of like 13, 14 metres on the other side. So you tend to catch a lot more fish on the other side, a lot more shallow fish. However, where I am, it keeps it simple. Yeah, it's 11 metres wide. I've got a mud hole. I'd say 11 metres. So I just kept it mega simple in that I fished the mud, potentially with either micros and whatever, worm, corn, maggots, hookbait, or with just hard pellets, which was my initial starting point. Casters on a top gear, and then in the edge again with whatever I felt was best. Either mushy micros, which is what it turned out, with maggots on the hook or worms on the hook. Plumbing the mud hole, it was too shallow. Like right at the back, it was like this, which I wasn't too happy about. So I moved just off to the corner of the reeds, where it was sort of 16-inch, just tapping 4 mils in, 6 mil on the hook, and what a venue Monk Hall is. It literally, my float went under every 10 seconds for the first 3 hours. Just lots of missed bites, lots of aggro chaos going on. But by not being too erratic, taking my time, I caught a carp every single chuck for the first 3 hours. It was phenomenal. I had 150 pound. I mean, I did 3 nets in the first 3 hours. I was literally on course, 50 pound an hour filling the net. Absolutely brilliant. And I felt like I was keeping pace. I mean, had a ridiculous section as you'd expect on that side. I've had Pete Upton, Jimmy Brooks and Tom Scully on my side. And then on the other side, we had Trigg, Craig Edmonds, Andy Power, James Howarth, Jordan Holloway, Andy Bennett, and then poor Robbie. Robbie Taylor was on peg 20, probably the worst peg in the bag, that one poor Robbie was on. But the other lads from Bagger to Trigg, they're in the gang, and I was amazed if we could even beat any of them, but it was going well. Went a little bit weird across, so I've swapped my match, and I've came short, and I've just fished casters on my top kit and the edge for the last 2 hours, and it stayed the same, 50 pound an hour. I mean, same sort of fish, big F1s, odd carp. I never like revved up and went next level. It just stayed lovely and steady for 2 hours, and I ended up with a decent weight, weighed in 120 kilos. I think it's about 165 pound, 265 pound, and I'd won my bank. And then as the scales go, I felt like it was close between me and Power. I thought he beat me, and the same with Bagger as well. He was admitted to a very similar weight. So I weighed 120. Power's turned away and he weighed 118. I didn't see that coming. I thought he was going to have a little bit more than me. But then the surprise, the children, the young ones that tell fibs, Mr. Holloway and James Howarth next to him, they both beat us as well. I mean, James has snuck in with 124 kilo, I'm going to say. And then Jordan beat him again with about 128 kilo, I'm going to say. Jordan, I might be just off, but they actually took first and second. And then the amazing thing, Bagger, who caught carp the same as me, they weren't weighing quite what we thought, and he weighed slightly less, again, 118 kilo, which it threw everything into utter chaos because we're all a bit daft and no one could work out what anyone had got. But the way it turned out, massively, massively close league in the end. Mr. Power, he took the honours. I forget what points he'd had, but he tied on points with Tom Edwards, who'd had an absolute phenomenal season, league, whatever you want to call it. They tied on points. Power just snuck ahead on weight. I'm not sure what the weights actually were. Consistent as ever, Bagger came in third. Jordan finished fourth, and I finished fifth. Yeah, I was lucky on fifth. There were three of us that tied on 27 points. Myself, James Howarth, and Robbie Taylor. So poor Robbie hadn't half suffered on that peg. He didn't want to draw there, but still did mega. I think he was seventh on the day, which is, he couldn't have done any better from where he was. But we filled the fifth, sixth, and seventh positions. And I was lucky enough to have a bigger weight up. Mega league, picked up a few quid. And I honestly believe it's the future of top-end fishing. Definitely. The lads there, John Cook, Baz Zimmerman, Paul Holland, Bagger, they've put so much effort into making that league good. It's such a amazing yet daunting place to be, but it makes you better. Yeah, it makes you try harder than you've ever tried before because there's nowhere to hide. Any mistakes get punished. It makes you be more on your game than you've ever been, and I'm all about that. At the later stages of my career, I still want to be trying as hard as I can, and that definitely brings it out. Already cannot wait for the next season sort of thing, which starts in August, I'm going to say. We have a month off. Next 4 rounds start in August. But for me, it's time to calm things down a little bit. I've got a quick festival next week, 2-day festival at Monk Hall. I've got one Guru, whatever it's called, Guru Commercial Masters thing, up at Partridge Lakes. And then 2 weeks' time, it's time for Fishing Mania. So that'll be the next time I catch up with you.